What's up guys and welcome back to Beef for Crypto. Yes, Bitcoin will fix this problem, and guys, we're going to find out in this very important fundamental strong video, is this collapse of the economy already priced into Bitcoin? We are going to find out exactly that guys, because I'm going to remind you about the most important factor for Bitcoin, and we are going to look at the fundamental values, and we are going to go back to the beginning of Bitcoin guys, and we're also going to do technical analysis on the short-term price movement. If you want to find out what I'm going to show you in this video, then watch the video until the end. And guys, we're going to start this video different, and now let's start with the video. Welcome back to Before Crypto, and yes guys, we are going back to the Genesis block. I want to remind you in which times Bitcoin was created and for what factor. Guys, we're going to look at the history of Bitcoin and why Satoshi Nakamoto had this hidden message in the Genesis block. So guys, before we are going to go over to the charts, we are going to look at one article that explains it all. The Bitcoin white paper was released back in November 2008 when the world was drowning in a massive global recession. That period was known as the Great Recession, and it was a time when national economies were seeing a huge decline. Many countries were seeing the unemployment rates going to the moon. The stock market was crashing and the housing markets were plummeting. Private and commercial banks were collapsing, and financial institutions worldwide, along with governments, were implementing fiscal policies that were designed to stimulate the struggling economies of nations. There was quantitative easing and slashing of interest rates by authorities. To make a reference to this situation, Satoshi made sure to introduce a hidden message on the Genesis block. Coinbase timestamp parameter, it was referring the Times newspaper. Times 3rd of Jan 2009, Chancellor of brink of second bailout of banks, Satoshi Nakamoto. He also hit the same text in reverse on the line 1616 of Bitcoin's original code. Due to the time of its release, besides the hidden message introduced in the Genesis block, it believed that Bitcoin was created to offer an alternative monetary system, a system built to resist and challenges faced in traditional currencies, counterfeiting inflation and corruption. Yes guys, Bitcoin was exactly made for this scenario which we are at the moment. You could actually imply these messages from this news article directly into our news of today. And guys, I think that this will be a catalyst event if we see the economy and the US dollar collapse. And guys, this could bring Bitcoin to a historic moment, and this is also the factor for which Bitcoin was created. And guys, that's why you should buy and hold Bitcoin. And guys, also what is very important, that we went all the way underneath the 200 EMA and underneath the previous all-time high, and that was also historic. And that's why it couldn't mean that Bitcoin would see a major explosion and we would see that the US dollar collapses and Bitcoin will find its true purpose. And guys, we are going to go over on the weekly chart, and I want to show you some very interesting patterns that might tell us that we have reached the bottom. And afterwards we're going to go over to the charts of Bitcoin to look at the short-term movement. And guys, let's start with the weekly chart of Bitcoin. And as you guys can see, we are in the year 2014 and we had this major pump towards the upside, and then we consolidated over a few months. Afterwards we saw a massive pump towards the upside, and then we formed this high from 2013. We have formed the symmetrical triangle, and our breakout point was exactly here. And you could see that the price target from the symmetrical triangle was exactly 151 US dollar after we crashed down all the way from 1152 US dollars, and that was the exact bottom. And guys, this is also a perfect fit from this target of the symmetrical triangle. So let's go on to the year 2018. We went up from these points and we reached the all-time high. Afterwards we could see that we formed this symmetrical triangle, and our bottom was exactly the bottom of this trend line. And afterwards we could see that we had a dump from 19,490 US dollars all the way down to 3,170 US dollars. So guys, this was the exact bottom. Let's take this price target from the symmetrical triangle and drag it to the potential breakout point. And then you guys can see something very interesting, that we perfectly hit the price target from the symmetrical triangle, forming our all-time high, which we had at 69,224 US dollars approximately. And guys, let me show you the most important factor, that yes, we have formed another symmetrical triangle from this push up where we reached our all-time high. That maybe wasn't intended to go as high, that this should have actually been the all-time high, and that all the institutional players and the big players pushed the price even higher. Because guys, let's see where the price target is from the symmetrical triangle. If we drag it over to the potential breakout point, we can exactly see that this price target brings us approximately to 17,133 US dollars. And guys, you could see that we aren't far away, because we have reached the bottom of 17,722 US dollars with the last wick that we formed. So could this potentially mean that we have reached the bottom? We have to find out, guys, but this could be a potential scenario that Bitcoin found its perfect purpose and that we have reached the bottom. But guys, that doesn't mean that we can't dip any lower and that we could see a wick going even lower, as far as 14 or even 11,000 US dollar, until we see this massive push. It will all depend on this economic and black swan events that could happen, or we could even see that the Fed will save themselves by printing again money, but this will also cause that the Bitcoin price will see even higher prices. And that's why I think that we are close to the bottom, guys, and that this is the best opportunity to buy Bitcoin and to invest into the whole crypto market. And now let's go on the short-term perspective to see what the price of Bitcoin is doing at the moment. So guys, we're going to start on the 4-hour chart, and as you guys can see that in this support and resistance box that we are finding perfect support and that we are ranging in these areas. And you can also see that we have formed this trend line towards the downside, and at the moment you can see that Bitcoin had a major breakthrough from these levels, and we saw that we went all the way from 18,700 US dollars to a high of 19,648 US dollars. And guys, are we going to see that we're going to range in these areas and maybe even see a retest and reach higher prices? But first, let's go on the 1-hour chart for Bitcoin. So guys, on the 1-hour chart, you can see that we found support in the support box, and at the moment we are breaking out. But guys, before we could say that we are going to reach higher prices, we definitely have a price target of round about 21,000 US dollars, where we also could see that this major wick got some resistance. And guys, you can see that in this whole range we can see that we have a high resistance area, because if we drag a box over like this, so guys, you can see we had some resistance over here, and then it turned into support, and then we bounced off from these areas. So then we could see that we broke this support line, and then it was resistance. So guys, first of all, we need to reach these areas to really say that Bitcoin has formed a higher high, and we then have to form a higher low to really say that Bitcoin could see some positive movements and that we could reach a higher price target. And guys, what are the price targets if we see this bullish breakout? We're going to find out exactly that on the weekly chart, and we're also going to find out which will be the price targets if we're going to break this support box. On the weekly chart, we can see that if we're going to see this bullish pump from these regions, we should overcome the 200 weekly moving average, and that is approximately at 22,680 US dollars. So this would confirm a bullish movement towards the upside, and that we could see a price move all the way to the levels of maybe 30,000 US dollars, where we see that we have a lot of resistance in these areas. So we could consolidate within these areas. And guys, if we're going to dump from these regions, I could still see that the price of Bitcoin could even reach the price of the regions of 16,477 as our first price target, and then we could even reach a price target of 14,000 US dollars. I don't think that the price of Bitcoin will go lower, because there we will have a lot of buying pressure. And guys, all these economic factors will push the Bitcoin price up. I believe that Bitcoin was exactly made for these purposes, and that's why you should hold and buy Bitcoin now. Guys, if you like this content, go down, smash up the like button and subscribe to my channel. This would really support me a lot and help me on my journey. And guys, you have to be for crypto, and we see each other in the next video.